What's up, everybody? It's a special edition of Pleases the Court because I want to have a little bumper at the beginning and the end about TFCon. But we're going to get to the reveals very soon. First and foremost, a lot of people have been asking, with TFCon going to LA next year in March, will I be there? The answer is no. No, I will not. I wish everybody the best that goes. I think that it's due for a West Coast show, and I get all the people that live on the West Coast. It's been very challenging to get out to the Midwest or to the East Coast, but it's too far for me, and I'm going to Chicago in April for celebration, so it's just too much to ask of my family right now. So I won't be there, but I hope everybody enjoys. If there is another American show on the East Coast in the fall, I'll more than likely be there. But I wish they would let me know very soon so that I could plan accordingly. This was a very trying trip for me. We did 3 hotels in 4 nights with 24 hours of driving. Left Maryland, drove 6 hours to Cleveland, did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which was awesome, and did the Christmas Story House, which was super awesome. Crashed for the night, drove 6 hours to Chicago, set up the booth. The King of England watched my kids for me, which was very nice of him. Partied a little bit Friday night, did the rock party Saturday, worked the con all day, went upstairs, had a pizza. I think I gained 10 pounds from that deep dish Chicago pizza in one sitting. Went to sleep, meant to come out and party, my head hit the pillow, I was done. Sunday, worked the convention until 4 when the show closed, was on the road by 4:45, was 6 hours back to Cleveland, crashed, and then 6 hours back to Maryland the following day. I'll never do that again. It's too much. I'm too old, and my ambition outweighs my ability sometimes. But I mean, I got it done. I hope they don't use this hotel again. The convention space was nice, but my hotel room was trash. My wife didn't even want my kids playing on the floor because it was just filthy. But I heard that wasn't everybody's experience, but it was definitely ours. Good food though, and good bar and all that, so that was cool. So I know you guys don't want to waste too much time with the introductions and such. I'll have some shout outs at the end and a little bit of extra final thoughts, and I'm going to start working on my sit down Saturday for this week, which, spoilers, is going to be all of my first-hand interactions with third-party companies, and then one interaction that's kind of third-party, so to speak. If you guys know, I got a couple test shots that I put up for review to have approved to release, and they both got denied. Well, at this point, I am going to put them up. Not the whole thing, I'm just going to put the final thoughts from both in this week's video on Saturday so you guys can see what they denied. This is years later after the releases, and I mean, there's no paperwork or anything, so whatever. You know what I mean? Throw caution to the wind and ride the lightning. So yeah, let's get to it.
All right, so let's get down to the nitty gritty. The third-party panel this year was a little lackluster, as it has been for many years. Well, at least 2. And we should kind of expect this now, in my opinion, but let's not let that get in the way of talking about it. So we have a new company, Cold Constructs, and they are doing, it looks like Cybertron stuff. We're getting a scatter shot, which looks fine, and we're getting a hot shot overall in Jetfire. Just looking at this, the materials and build and stuff like that don't seem up to par to me. Now, looks can be deceiving, and don't judge a book by its cover and blah, blah, blah. I'm familiar with the cliches, but I'm just saying, and looking at it, I'm like, I don't know. We got more images of Fans Hobbies Overkill, which is still in the works, and I'm sure we'll be fine. We got this Fext system, which I think is actually pretty cool, especially if you're a guy that displays his figures at work and have a Legends class collection or something like that. I think that this could actually be pretty beneficial to you. Just a little section of your cubicle, and put some stuff on it, and have your coworkers judge you. It's all good. And then they showed an upgrade set for Valkyrie or Macross or some such thing that I don't know enough about to really have an opinion on, but that's coming. 3A has a Bumblebee and a Prime coming. Oh my God, they look gorgeous. If I was into this, I would definitely be into this, if you know what I mean. But I'm not, so it's an easy pass for me. But the detail, the sculpt, the paint that they put into their stuff is just absolutely phenomenal. We got an update on Gigapower's Swoop. It looks like they fixed the face issues, which I was making fun of before, so that's good news for those that are still into it. And the display base looks absolutely amazing. Like, it's weathered, it's painted, it's so dynamic, it's breathtaking really. But cheers to them for that. And then you get a couple hair dryers that you can set up around it, so that's pretty cool too. And then they had some Magic Square stuff. We got the Artfire repaint coming. I'm sure someone somewhere is excited about that. I'm not sure who that person is, but congrats, buddy, it's your day. And then they showed a blaster, which actually does look pretty cool and has a little ram horn inside. Side story, my daughter, when she was a baby, I mean, I say a baby, she was a kid, but She was kind of delayed speaking. It's not a big deal. She's over it now. Trust me, she can't stop talking. But there was a part where she wanted the KFC ram horn, and she would ask for the third-party wham horn, which was super cute. But it looks good. And then we have the Trailbreaker. It still looks like they're using that softer plastic, but I think it looks good. I have a sit-down Saturday coming on Legends class figures. That should be pretty interesting for you guys to see how that lines up. I got some stuff in my pocket for that. But the Iron Factory Jazz looks amazing. Another solid effort, it looks like, from them. Hopefully the tolerances are all sorted. And a Ruination, which I suppose we should have saw coming, but I'm not sure that I would have necessarily thought that. It's a very obscure kind of thing, so I wish them the best with that. And then they showed silhouettes of a Hound, a Wheeljack, a Cliff Jumper, and a Mirage coming. And I think we've seen those teases before as well, but they're still pretty cool, at least in the way that they did it. Planet X has their Ironhide coming, which we've seen, and their Deathsaurus coming, which we've seen. And a company called Zhang Jing, I don't know. I only speak one language, and I don't speak that all that well, depending on the time of day, depending on my blood alcohol level, and my general level of laziness. So just go with it. But apparently this looks more screen accurate, so they might find a audience there, which is cool. It looks like a decent enough sculpt. I don't know. It looks fine to me, I guess. And then we have the Creep from Rising Force. I don't know if this is Bold Forms, but it smells like Bold Forms. Does that make sense? I feel bad for this company because they're competing with DX9, Fans Toys, and X-Transbots, like, coming out of the gate, and it's just like, good luck, Mac. We got more images of the DZEF. You know, I'm a fan of that just because of the name. And the Black Azalea stealth mode, which I have a review coming of very soon, so we'll hold off on that for now. I was very close to the MMC table, so I got to see a lot of these figures they had on their table pretty much the whole show. And they showed off their Pet and their Nickel. I'm not a big Nickel fan, but I do like the Pet, and it looks cool. And they showed off their Guzzle as well, which looks pretty amazing. I'm glad to see them get back to some Wreckers characters. That makes my heart warm. So that's pretty awesome as well. And then simultaneously on the Planet Steel Express website, they showed images of an Ocular Max ram horn, which I have been yelling from the mountaintops for years that I hope they did. Well, maybe not years. You get my point. Obviously, the head isn't final. They're not happy with it, and it doesn't look like I'll be happy with it either, so I'm glad to see that, but it does look great. They are built well, and I can't wait. I also heard that a steel jaw is coming as well, and with the steel jaw coming, I have a little bit of satisfaction because I know they'll do the robots, because we all know MMC loves a repaint. And then, of course, no third-party panel is complete without a little showing from Fans Toys. Shout out to everybody that shouted that at the third-party panel. That's affecting the culture. That's the kind of stuff that means the most to me. Anyway, their Silverbolt looks great, and they showed off some of their Limbots and stuff. All good stuff. All very attractive looking figures. Can't wait. We got colored images of their Blur, which look fine, but I tell you, I'm not really wowed by this. I gotta have a real long talk with myself as to whether or not I'm going to switch out my Buzzing, because that's a pretty good figure. Then they showed their Brawn and Beachcomber, which I think look great, but I think what really kind of stole the show was their Motormaster. It looks breathtaking. Like, it is a thing of beauty. And I hear that the trailer is all incorporated into the transformation to the figure, so that's very curious. I can't wait to see what they do with this. Their engineering is not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination, but I'd be lying to you if I wasn't intrigued by just how they pulled it off. So I'm going to be watching this very closely. It is kind of like my dream come true in a way, like my favorite third-party company making my favorite set of characters, so I couldn't be more excited, even if the panel itself wasn't very exciting.
So that's kind of that, as they say. I will say that what I think is interesting about that Motormaster, for one, I hear that it's entirely self-contained. So much like the DX9 Rodimus, the trailer and all is all incorporated into the robot. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I heard. It's also interesting that the bots are going to be so much larger, but the cars are going to scale properly. That's an interesting feat. How they did that, so I'm looking forward to all that, even though the engineering on Fans Toys can be a bear. But look, I had a great time. The reveals weren't that exciting, but we haven't had exciting reveals in quite some time. Thank you to everybody that came by the table. Extra special thanks to everybody that walked away with something. Shout out to a few people. I hate doing shout outs because inevitably someone always feels like they're left out, but if I shook hands with you, I appreciate it. Shout out to Lord Shadowkeeper, who traveled from Puerto Rico, even with some health issues in a way that kind of were making his trip unpleasant. Shout out, of course, to the King, Cody, and Sam Spormers. I got to meet him from England. Tim from Germany. Like, it was a real pleasure. I want to give a special shout out to Josh. For those that don't know, Josh lost his leg earlier this year. I was able to get his phone number of his wife and called him, check on his well-being, and told him recoup, recover, re-up. And he said, no, I don't have time to recoup and recover. I got to work because I'm going to walk up and shake your hand in a couple months of TFCon. And God bless him, he did it. So I'm very proud of that dude. That's no small feat, so to speak. Shout out to Hanny with the Agabus crew. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures, but he had the most impressive booth there by and large. I mean, it was a showstopper. It's good to see that dude perform. And shout out to the Pinkertons. Etchbox was there, and they kind of kept an eye on one of my daughters for most of the trip. So that was very kind of them. I got a lot of stories from TFCon. I'll be including those in Nerd Rage this week and on Shattercast this week. So if you're interested, check those out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.